Hello everybody and welcome to the video. In this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to install a Maxx M4 Hopup unit into your gun. It may look a little overwhelming to do, especially with all the little different parts and doodads along here. In actuality, it's pretty simple to do. So the parts that I'm going to be using are the Maxx M4 Hopup unit and all the little parts that come with it. A Maple Leaf Crazy Jet barrel. It kind of looks like a gas blowback barrel, but in actuality it works for AEGs. I'm going to be using a Maple Leaf Super Macaron bucking and a Maple Leaf Omega nub. So first things first, the Maxx Hopup unit, the arm that we're going to be using is a silver arm, and it looks like it has like a little cup on the inside of the arm. That's the one that you're going to be wanting to using. There is another one that's completely flat and has like a block stuck to it. You don't want to use that one. You want to be using this one, or at least for this particular video. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking your barrel and you're going to be putting your bucking on it. So if you're new to the Airsoft, you'll notice that there is a little groove inside this barrel right here. And you'll also notice that your bucking just so happens to have a little bit of a line on the inside of the bucking. There should be a little bit of a line inside your bucking. All you have to do is take that line and line it up with the groove inside of your barrel. All you have to do is slip it on. And the thing that's nice about Maple Leaf, for their particular barrels and buckings, they all line up relatively well. If you're using aftermarket barrels and buckings on different types of barrel assemblies, it can get a little tricky, but if you're all using the same relative manufacturers, it should be easy to install. Take the bucking, slide it down that little groove, until you get all the way down on the barrel. And the way you can know if your barrel is properly seated, but you should notice that the inside of the bucking should be flush, completely flush with the inside of the barrel. Now you're gonna wanna insert your barrel inside your Hopup unit. Remember that little groove that we mentioned earlier inside the barrel? All you have to do is make sure that groove faces up like this. So that groove should be facing up to where your feed lips are on your Hopup unit. Slide it all the way in. Don't shove it in too hard. It shouldn't go any further. And the thing that's nice about this Maxx Hopup unit is it has a little bit of plexiglass on the side so you can see whether or not your barrel is all the way in. But you'll notice that you can see the bucking kind of like protruding right inside the Hopup window. Once you do that, make sure the line right here is lined up. Now you're going to take your little C-clamp right here, this little white guy, and you're going to stick it on your Hopup unit. You notice that there are little divots inside the Hopup unit right here. There's like a little notch right here. You want to make sure that your C-clamp aligns properly with that notch. And all you have to do is clip it into place. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Once it's on there, it should make a little bit of a click noise, and you want to make sure it's completely flush with the Hopup unit. So as I'm rubbing down here, it's catching a little bit, so I might have to wiggle the Hopup unit a little bit to get it on there. And make sure to check all sides of the Hopup unit. So you should notice that there are no gaps in between the Hopup unit and the actual barrel. It's all nice and flush. And you have to wiggle it around a little bit, that's fine. Just make sure once you're done wiggling it around that the little groove right here is aligned properly with the Hopup unit. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. What you'll want to do is take your Hopup wheel and make sure it's turned all the way off. The way you can tell to see if it's all the way off is there should be a little groove or little divot at the bottom of the Hopup unit. That should be all the way down. Generally, it would be on setting 2. Setting 2 should be right about lined up with the Hopup unit here. Then what you're gonna wanna do is take some tweezers, or you can get your hand, either one works, and you're gonna be dropping your nub directly into this little channel right here. Generally, you want the nub to be facing up like this. You'll take your nub and then drop it into that window. And it can be a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too terribly difficult. So just drop it in just like that, and make sure your nub is centered inside the Hopup windows like so. You'll notice that there is a little bit of a divot right here, like a little bit of an opening on your Hopup. That's generally where you want the nub to sit. Then take up your arm, and you'll notice that there is a little line sticking out right here. That's going to go directly in that slot that I mentioned earlier on the Hopup wheel right here. All you have to do is take your fingers or take your tweezers, either one works. Take that little divot and stick it inside the Hopup unit like so. It can be a little tricky. It should go in just a little bit, and you'll notice that arm sits right on top of that nub. I don't know if you can see it very well. The lighting is kind of bad right now. But you'll notice the arm should be sitting directly on top of your nub like so. After you get that in there, you want to put like a little finger right here just to hold everything down, and then you should get a little screw, this little dude right here. Take that little screw, drop it inside there, push it in a little bit, and it should go in relatively well without having to screw it in. I don't know if you can see that. Then take your screwdriver, screw it all the way in, And you're gonna want a pretty small flat head for it to go all the way in. Once you're done screwing it in, you don't wanna screw it in too tight because this is an aluminum Hopup unit, so stripping the threads is pretty easily, but you shouldn't have to tighten it like at all. Then you've got your main portions of the Hopup unit installed. Now, all you have to do is take this little ring right here, slide it down the barrel, stick it in like so, and then you should have like a little tiny O-ring. All you have to do is slide that over the barrel, and that's gonna essentially hold that little brass ring on your Hopup unit and prevent it from slipping away. And make sure it's lined up completely flush with the Hopup unit. You don't want it to be sitting outside at all, so if you have to push it in a little bit, that's totally fine. Then you're gonna take your little spring, put it on your barrel assembly, and that's it. You're good to go. All you have to do now is just insert it into your gun. And a good way to test to see if you installed everything properly is you can look down the barrel. Generally, you want to look down through here, look into like somewhere that is relatively bright. And then what you're going to want to do is adjust the Hopup wheel. So when you're looking down the barrel, when the Hopup wheel is all the way off, you shouldn't see any notches in the barrel. And then when you adjust the Hopup wheel, you should notice that the more and more you adjust it, there should be like a little black notch coming up, or just a notch in general, just kind of going up and up and up. And if that is going up, that means you installed the barrel assembly correctly. If you do not see that notch coming up, then it's probably that your bucking is upside down and you just need to turn it. Take your barrel assembly, and you'll notice that every airsoft gun, there should be like a little bit of a notch right here. All you have to do is take these little arms right here, slide it down your barrel, or slide your barrel down your gun, push it in, and then slide it onto your lower receiver. Sorry if it's hard to catch on camera. This is a little bit difficult to do. Now, all you have to do is test fire your gun, put a couple mags through it, see how it feeds. But if you have any other questions or concerns, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. And if you want to purchase your Maxx Hopup unit today, just go to airsoftatlanta.com and you should be able to grab one just fine. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.